Hello, welcome to week 4, day 5. So after we have spoken about the composers and the process of inspiration, about the pianist and how you can get your physical conditions very well to have an optimal output, now we talk about the communication between you and other musicians. So it is one thing to study for yourself alone. Maybe you can even do the whole class all alone without making music with anybody else. But on the other hand, there is wonderful communication structures, making music with one or even more other people. So company, piano is a universal instrument, and there are so many possibilities to accompany others, and the piano sometimes replaces an entire orchestra. It's much cheaper for rehearsals with ballet and so to pay just one pianist and not have the orchestra rehearse all the time. And this is why I let you play four hands with me right from the first session on, so that you get into the flow, you get support when you play and you get the kick to slip into the music flow. I hope you did it, and you did it also with the other three Diabelli pieces. So the absolute precondition to play together with more than one musician is you need the beat, so that the right notes are sounding at the same time and they are consonant, they are in good resonance with each other, like a chord. And it was not given from the very beginning of music, so I've put you some links, the BBC link collection. There are wonderful links to sites, pages with which comment how this development took place in music history. So in 1200 something, the music was mainly happening in the monasteries. The monks were singing liturgic songs, and they had just a lunga e breve, a long and a short note. And by singing it over and over again, they got in their rhythm. And then in the school of Notre Dame in Paris, at around 1600, they sang with more than one voices parallel, so always the same, so no rhythmic changes yet, but the harmonics. And then it was necessary to find different symbols for the music notes, so we could write different values, and through these values you could get the music sorted out so that it always sounds good. So it's a process, and it's very interesting to see how it was invented. Now when you play with others, it depends, the flow of your performance depends on both of your abilities to be flexible on different rhythmic levels. My concept of rhythmic levels is sort of unique. I have not seen it being taught by anybody, although there were in Elements I saw people who are close to that, but no one did it systematically. So if you play together with another student of mine and you know about the levels, then you can just make an agreement, say, oh, this passage sounds good if we play it on half notes, the other passage we make quarter notes, and the other passage we have the rhythm of the full measures, which gives a very beautiful flow. It's very easy then to be together, and once you're on this same level, the fine-tuning is very easy then from the ear. It is like two cars driving side by side, and they make agreement, we take the fourth gear, so then just this minimal adjustment to stay on the same height and be like one car in the same speed. So if somebody is driving in the fourth gear and the other one in the second gear, it's very hard to be on the same height then. So if you have partners, music partners who are beginners and naturally they're on lower levels and you're on higher level, then you have to adapt. The weakest partner defines the quality of the whole team. So also we talked about the psychology of mistakes. We said when a new learning step comes, the old mistake will try to come back and we have to correct it and smooth it down again. So when you play your piece well and then you play it with somebody else, this is the new learning step, and you will make mistakes for sure, and we will have to correct them together. You find the new level of communicating with music together and arrive there and begin to perform music there. So it's also a matter of many conventions. How is the phrasing? How do I play the ends? How is the beginning of a phrase? How is the articulation? How make it clear? So when you rehearse, you need to find your personal style, and also the dynamics are important. When you play loud, if you have the theme and the rest has to be under it, so the sound balance. The theme wanders from left hand to right hand to the other partner. It's just very very interesting process. Who is in the foreground, background, and you should never have a fight of egos. This will be no good sound. If you want to have a good sound, then you must find together and have fun together. And people will feel that exactly, how you feel playing together. So, when I was 14 and 16, my piano teacher of that time, Henry Knupper, was so generous to hire the Hamburg Symphony Orchestra every couple of years and make his students play one or two movements of piano concertos of the famous composers with a professional orchestra. This was a challenge, and we practiced like mad because getting this chance is so wonderful that we try to give our best. So as a soloist then with the orchestra, you have certain freedoms, but you still have to follow the conductor. The conductor is the boss. He holds everything together. In music therapy, we found that it is easy to play with two persons because one exactly balances with the other. It's a good concentration, and as soon as you open up to a third person, it is difficult because these two will have a coalition and the one will be outside, or these two will have coalition, this one will be outside, or like this. And it's like the Oedipal conflict situation of Sigmund Freud. We have reminiscence of our earlier situation with the parents, and a boy wants to love his mother and the girl wants to love her father, and the other part of the parents is sort of the competition. And we have to resolve that, and then we'll be able to make harmonious music with 3 and more people. The string quartets play with 4 people mostly over years and decades, and they have a lot of conventions, many little details how they play together, and they create their typical sound, so they are engaged again and again. So, when you accompany a singer, you have to know what he sings. When you practice alone, you should sing his part while you play, and you should understand the text, maybe even have it by memory, so you can sort of deeply crawl into his interpretation and be the accompaniment inside this expression he wants to create, he or she. It's a lot of information to handle. You are mostly in the role of a conductor. There are conductors who have memorized many entire operas. Giuseppe Platane was an outstanding example. He had hundreds of operas all by heart, and he could conduct it without any partition. So I saw him many times at the Hamburg State Opera. So take this as an idol, as a good example that we grow towards this and do our best. Yes, you have to prepare the instruments, you have to prepare the performance, the organization, you have to have a good plan of rehearsals, and all members of your group must be punctual. It's impossible if you have to wait for somebody who's late when you have to perform at this moment. But it all happens. And then the question is how you divide the fees. Does the one who takes the organizational things get a double fee, double as much as the others? How do you handle that? Maybe you have your piano as a hand luggage, and then you have to be flexible. Once I had the concert on the castle at the top of the hill near Würzburg in Germany, Marienfestung, and after the recital we had a date with each other in a pub, and there was cello and violin, but I was the first in the pub, having already transported my piano. So it's all a matter of flexibility and good organization. So let's assume you have a good chamber music partner or partners. You say, we want to do that more often. So you have to sit together and discuss, how do we name our group, how do we present ourselves, how do we make flyers, web page and publicity, who is managing what films we put on YouTube, and how do you want to build an image of your group so that people like it and they book it. There was a string ensemble in Hamburg consisting of only women, and in German it says Musikante, that's a musician, and they decorated themselves with like cats, with painting the face and having little ears. They call themselves the Hamburg Music Cats, and they had good success with that because people liked it, not only hear music but also see nice women in a funny dress. So work on all this, and it's much more than only practicing. That's all about music and communication, because when you want to get gigs, you need to communicate with many people so you get the decision to be invited, and that's the job. And in the advanced course and the professional course we will work on this very hard so that you have a good standing and you can really live on music very well. So think about that and make your first steps to play with others, make chamber music, and maybe even get a job as a solo player with orchestra. Make all these experiences wonderful. Yeah, you can have a look at my starting video in my YouTube channel. You will see that I conducted from the piano. There was 200 choir, orchestra, the soloist, and I played the solo piano part in Beethoven's choral fantasy. And then you really have to be in the music. I had little time for that. I just got the music sheet 2 weeks before, and 2 days before the organizer said to me, why don't you just conduct it? Well, I said okay, and worked on it. That was real fun. I wish you to have this fun and wish you all the best. Thank you.